some people are calling it that dominant performance day by yourself as a beat and teach, but surely the beat and teach comes in the Worlds, right?
Yeah, because it's actually a good win, but the main focus is the World Championship. So when I win at the World Championship, everyone can say what they want to say.
Yeah.
Because I know for sure I'm going to do.
So I did something earlier on, and I was just looking at the expected weather conditions there in Zurich over the next 2 days of competition. So again, from Wednesday through to Thursday. Last time I checked, and it still does look the same. That the better condition is actually, it looks as if it's going to be a bit of a on and off affair. Whether you want to call it a British weather for on Wednesday for the athletes. And then when you segue over into Thursday, it just looks like it's going to be a wet one, doesn't it? You got 70% chance of rain for pretty much the majority of the day. And it does say here in black and white, thundery showers and light wind. And it's not really what you want to hear when you're going into the final of a Diamond League, especially when you're so close to the World Athletics Championship. And yes, as I said, the weather conditions can play a contributing factor to athletes' performances. It's a fact, especially when you're talking about those wet weather condition, which is why it's even more remarkable what Oblique Seville did just the other day, in cold, wet conditions, beating his opponents, leave them in his shadows, the manner in which he won his race. Remarkable to say the least. BM says prize money in track and field is very small. Yeah, can argue that they need more investors. Seeing that argument floating around. But back to the weather conditions there. Obviously, with the expected wet conditions, one of the things that I am concerned about, again, when we're so close to the World Athletics, is that it could potentially puts athletes at risk of a number of things there as it relates to, let's say, injuries. Whether you're on the track or whether you're on the field, obviously slippery surfaces can lead to a number of things, again, track or on the field. It can significantly increase the risk of slips, falls that could result into unfortunate injuries such as sprains, strains, or even worst case scenario, fractures. Again, when you're so close to competing on one of the biggest stage in sports, it can be a little bit concerning. I'm not sure frightening, because these athletes, they must train in any weather. You kind of have to prepare your mind and body to compete in any weather, um any weather condition as best as possible. And you have to think about the hypothermia as well. And in colder temperatures, being wet can cause things such as rapid drop in the athlete's core body temperature. And if that's the case, body works harder to stay warm, which could obviously lead towards things such as fatigue and severe cases of hypothermia. Hopefully these things don't happen, but it is things that could potentially happen. And when you think about the mental aspect of the sport as well, like I said, it all starts up here. You really do have to be stable mentally to go out there and perform at your ultimate best. I think we all know what it's like when you're out in the cold. Yes, we're not athletes, but when you're out in the rain, it starts to get a little bit cold and you become uncomfortable, doesn't it? Whether that leads to mental discomfort, that's another possibility. But the idea of this persistent feeling of being cold, being wet, I think for the normal person, like I said, it can be uncomfortable, and it could potentially lead to some negative impact on the athlete's focus and mental state of mind. And obviously that could um have a negative impact on the athlete's ability to perform at their utmost best. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but it could happen when you're dealing with certain weather conditions. And I think one of the most obvious concerns there as it relates to the expected thundery weather, wet weather, is that it could obviously lead to illness. We all know prolonged exposure to rain and cold can lead to respiratory infections. Like, these are basic things that we learned back in school. It's no different when you're an athlete, no different when you're a professional athlete. You're not exempt from certain things. And we all know, again, it says there on the screen in front of you, thundery showers and light winds. As they say, light, I believe they say light travels faster than sound. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's always been light travels faster than sound. So in the sense that you would see lightning followed by thunder, right? I think that's how they say it. So again, I guess the biggest scare from all of this is the possibility of being electrocuted. Now that might sound like a bit of a dramatic take, but I don't think it is, especially when you're dealing with those type of predicted weather conditions. There, we all know during a thunderstorm, there is a high risk of being, depending on how severe the condition is, there is a risk of being struck by lightning. And I think you see that when you're playing, when professional sports is being played. There's a reason why when you're out there, whether it's on the football field or whether you're on your track surface or your field surface there as athletes, it gets to a point where, depending on how bad the weather condition is as it relates to those lightning and thunder there, some events can lead to possible delays or a total cancellation. Hopefully you won't see that with the Diamond League, but again, the Diamond League final, that is, those are a couple of things there that kind of spring to mind when I was looking ahead to the next few days. Again, Wednesday and Thursday. BM says, Michael, yeah, I mean, I wish him all the best. I do wish him all the best. I do hope that it works out for him. Great idea. I do hope that he can get over this hurdle, this stumbling block, and I pray that it works out for both him and the athletes. It's a wonderful idea that he's trying to execute. Hopefully he's able to do so, dust himself off and go again, God's willing. So let's go and see if we could go ahead and do some predictions